Today, we're diving deep into the absolute tactical chessboard that is the 2026 World Cup final. We are looking at a truly monumental showdown between Spain and Argentina. And we're going to break down exactly how these two absolute juggernauts play the game. So if you love the strategic side of soccer, the formations, the defensive blocks, and those crucial attacking triggers, you are definitely in the right place. Here is our game plan for today. We'll be looking at the ultimate tactical clash: Spain's defensive wall, Argentina's attacking firepower, the referee's tactical battle, and finally, that incredible Messi versus Yamal matchup. Let's just jump right in. All right, Section 1, the ultimate tactical clash, the reigning European versus the reigning South American champions. Let's set the stage for July 19th at MetLife Stadium. For the very first time in World Cup history, the active reigning champions of Europe and South America are going to collide in the final. And honestly, we are witnessing the ultimate tale of the tape here. Just look at this. On one side, you have Spain's tournament best defense, which has allowed a grand total of one single goal, just one. And on the other side, Argentina's ferocious offense, bringing a staggering 19 goals to the table, leading the entire tournament. It's literally that classic paradox, right? An immovable object meeting an unstoppable force. Something's got to give. And understanding exactly how these teams achieve these crazy numbers is really the key to understanding this final. Moving on to Section 2, Spain's defensive wall, the blueprints of La Roja. So this specific tactical setup has propelled Spain to an absolutely astonishing 37-match unbeaten streak across all competitions. That includes a record 6 clean sheets in this tournament alone for their goalkeeper Unai Simon. So how do they do it? Well, they operate out of a 4-2-3-1 formation, and the engine room of that setup is anchored by Rodri and Fabian Ruiz right there in the midfield double pivot. The reason this blueprint is so incredibly impregnable is that Spain brilliantly neutralizes their opponents through highly coordinated pressing, absolute defensive discipline, and just this really patient possession-based control. By using players like Lamine Yamal and Dani Olmo out on the wings to really stretch the field and having fullbacks like Pedro Porro push up and join the attack, they basically just keep the ball in the opponent's half all game. It means their possession actually becomes their primary form of defense. It's a total masterclass in suffocating the game. Section 3, Argentina's attacking firepower, the Albiceleste blueprint. Now, swinging over to the other side of the pitch, you have the defending champions, Argentina. They're chasing their third star and aiming to become the first back-to-back World Cup winners since Brazil pulled it off way back in 1962. But to get there, they use a completely different tactical philosophy than Spain, a very direct counter-attacking 4-4-2. The genius of this system is really how perfectly it caters to its absolute superstars. Basically, it allows Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez to just roam freely, totally unburdened by heavy defensive duties. Instead, you've got guys like Enzo Fernandez and Leandro Paredes putting in all the hard yards back in the midfield. And here is the tactical payoff you absolutely need to remember. This system generates devastating late-game offense. Get this, half of Argentina's tournament goals have amazingly arrived in the 75th minute or later. They just wear you down, and the exact second your defensive block loses focus for even a second, boom, they strike. And really, the crucial thing to understand here is that those late-game surges are entirely orchestrated by this man. Lionel Messi isn't just a goal scorer anymore. He's evolved into the ultimate playmaker. In this tournament, he's added even more to his legacy, officially making him the World Cup's all-time leader in both goals, with 21, and assists, with 12. Sure, he's not running as much as he used to, but his collective genius and that unparalleled vision on the field are exactly what break down modern defenses. He strategically preserves his energy for the exact moment the tactical setup provides even a tiny opening, and then he just delivers that lethal pass or shot. All right, Section 4, the referee's tactical battle, officiating the final. Because, tactical battles aren't just fought by the players, right? There's actually a third team out there on the pitch, facing immense strategic pressure, the officiating crew, led by referee Ismail Elfath. Officiating a World Cup final requires its own kind of masterclass in game management. Elfath is stepping onto the pitch under the shadow of a very specific and highly publicized controversy called VAR Argentina. It's basically this online narrative suggesting Argentina has somehow benefited from favorable officiating and VAR decisions throughout their run. Now, we are definitely not here to say whether that's true or false, but tactically speaking, this narrative really matters. It places every single disciplinary and VAR decision Elfath makes under this exceptional, magnified public scrutiny. He has to manage this incredibly high-stakes game, knowing the whole world is watching his every single move through that specific lens. So, to navigate all of this pressure, El Fath really has to execute his own specific tactical playbook. First, he's got to establish a consistent foul threshold right from the jump. Meaning, if minor contact is allowed for Spain, it absolutely must be allowed for Argentina. Second, he needs to control player protests without being overly strict. He can't let the intense emotion of a final totally derail the natural flow of the match. And third, he has to ensure that any VAR interventions rely on absolute, undeniably clear evidence to avoid feeding into all that outside noise. If he can execute this playbook, the game is going to be decided by the tactics of the players and not the whistle. Finally, Section 5, Messi versus Yamal, the generational clash. Ultimately, any tactical masterclass boils down to the brilliant individuals actually executing it on the field. And this final features an absolutely mesmerizing showdown between soccer's present and its future. Honestly, it's a storyline that feels like it was written in a Hollywood script, nearly 2 decades in the making. Just trace this timeline for a second. In 2004, Messi debuted for Barcelona. Just 3 years later, in 2007, there was this famous UNICEF photo shoot where a young Messi posed holding a baby. Well, that baby would remarkably grow up to be Spain's newest prodigy, Lamine Yamal. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. Now, in 2026, they're clashing on the biggest stage of all. It is the ultimate passing of the torch scenario. And what an impact that former baby is having right now. At just 19 years old, Lamine Yamal has been the dynamic architect of Spain's entire attack. Get this, he has maintained a perfect 100% win rate whenever he starts, across both this World Cup and the Euros. He is the absolute wild card in Spain's incredibly methodical possession game. He's the one player capable of just unlocking a stubborn defense with a single sudden burst of pace or a pinpoint cross. But standing directly in his way is his 39-year-old childhood idol. Messi has willed his team to this final by leaning heavily on his supreme tactical intelligence. Like we mentioned earlier, he isn't pressing high anymore. Instead, he's scanning. He's strategically preserving every ounce of his energy, just waiting for the opponent's defensive structure to fracture even slightly, and then he orchestrates those lethal offensive strikes. So you essentially have the tactical wisdom of a 39-year-old veteran combating the fearless, explosive energy of a 19-year-old phenom. So as you tune in to watch this epic tactical clash, we really have to ask the ultimate question. When that final whistle blows, will Spain's impregnable possession-based defensive wall hold firm, or will Argentina's unstoppable late-game firepower conquer the world once again? Keep all these tactics in mind as you watch the drama unfold. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the final.